friends are like old memories. They always remind you of your past, and we are reminding ourselves of the past episodes from this week of Good Company for the best of Good Company with me, Hollie Taylor. And we are talking about those random acts of kindness that you have done that maybe you think would be easy for others to do as well. And we're just compiling our big old list. So we have making donations is a beautiful random act of kindness. Rounding up at the till. Thank you very much, Tim, for that suggestion. You can text yours in as well at 905-338-1250. That is our text line. And that number will come in very handy a little later on this hour. Okay, random acts of kindness. This is sweet. Volunteer, I find, is a very wonderful way of showing kindness in a very practical way, says Susan. So Susan volunteers as her random act of kindness. And, taking back the carts when we go to the grocery store. It's little, but it makes it so much easier for everyone else to negotiate the parking lots. This is from Neil. Love this. And it's so true. And do you remember when they used to cost $1? I would think, wow, that person just had $1 just to spend on leaving the cart in the middle of somebody's stall. And then we go around and collect them and get the money. Why not, right? Doing a random act of kindness and getting $1. Wait. You're not supposed to get anything in return, right? I get it. So now that there is no price attached to those carts, how many will you put away? Giving somebody an opportunity to slide right into that stall without accidentally hitting a cart, I think is a silent, random act of kindness that I'm here for. Thank you for the suggestions. What grace can do. Beautiful. When we think about Easter, we think about what Jesus did for us and how he has pardoned us of all of our sins. So, in the spirit of Lent, not just focusing on the fasting, but also the prayer and the almsgiving. Though fascinating how we've just really settled into the idea of what you are going to be fasting. Maybe it's because we don't fast a lot as a culture. Maybe it's because it just is the one that is the easiest to do. I don't know. Why do we focus in on that? Anyway. Almsgiving is the act of giving money or food or other forms of assistance to those in need. So that could be something. Maybe mix it up. Lent, though, giving up something for 40 days is hard. And maybe that's why we focus in on that one. Because sometimes we think, it's easy to give money. It's easy to give food, but we still got to be intentional about it. Plus, a lot of ways for us to focus in on prayer. Specifically leading into Easter. So I'm kind of curious, do you do all three or do you tend to lean on the side of what you're going to be fasting? I love it. Plus, I also really enjoy the calendars that break it out. If you wanted to do random acts of kindness or almsgiving or different things to pray about, just to keep you on track and to help get rid of that barrier of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think of. I don't know who to pray for. I don't know what I should be giving up. It allows us to still focus in on the heart of why we do these actions, not as something that's just for show, but truly trying to get ready for Easter, prepare our hearts, our minds, and our spirits for it. So, talking Lent today, and I'm curious, for you, have you ever incorporated all three, or do you generally just stick to one? 905-338-1250. I'm Hollie Taylor, and I just saw a wild video on Instagram. A couple of people flew from Toronto all the way to St. Albert, Alberta. It is about 30 minutes north of Edmonton. Kind of like a Pickering or Richmond Hill kind of vibe compared to Toronto, Mississauga, some of the larger places. Smaller vibes. And they flew and they went to Costco to get Pokemon cards. Anyway, a big kerfuffle ensued, and they were escorted out as they were trying to present multiple memberships to be able to get more Pokemon packages of cards, and it just became a thing. I mean, this story honestly leaves me with so many questions, but the one that jumped out at me, flying from Toronto all the way to St. Albert, Alberta for Pokemon cards? I mean, wow. There's motivation there. There really was. How far have I gone for anything not that. That's over 3,000 kilometers. That's a flight. No, thank you. I think the farthest I've ever gone is I drove to Hamilton to get a china cabinet. That's as far as I've gone. So, how far have you gone for a deal or to get something that you really wanted? Text in 905 338 1250 or give me a call. It's Hollie Taylor, and did you know there are companies that will pay you to go there? Yes, I would love this. I need to look into it a little bit more because, quite frankly, I would love to travel more. It's on my bucket list, so maybe I just take the mic with me and then I can go all over the world. What do you think? Japan, one of those countries, they've got several rural towns offering families around $7,500 per child to relocate. In some areas, they're going to throw in there for you a free renovated home and farming land just to sweeten the deal. So, Japan, want to go check it out? Maybe you can also get property. Ireland as well, Spain, Greece, Switzerland, Croatia, Chile, and where the Olympics are, Italy. And it is looking beautiful. Watching the Olympics, seeing just the serene, beautiful landscape. I mean, the Olympics, then just go to southern Italy and enjoy your time there. You can get up to 30,000 euros to move to some areas, and then you renovate the abandoned properties. They want to revitalize these towns. So there you go. Lots of places that are interested in having you move there. Did any of those tickle your fancy? There's actually a couple. Most of these places are on my bucket list. So, that list again: Italy, Chile, Croatia, Switzerland, Greece, Spain, Ireland, Japan. Which one would you pick? I'm Hollie Taylor here for Joy Radio, and I got I was going to say a fun fact, but it's not really fun as it is interesting. Because growing up in the evangelical church, we didn't really do a lot when it came to Shrove Tuesday, which is what today is. And then you've got Lent starting tomorrow. We just really waited to Palm Sunday and had that week, and then we did Easter. So it's always interesting hearing about Lent from different people in the different denominations. So Lent is really about 3 words: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So 3 things to keep in mind as we get ready tomorrow to prepare our hearts and our minds and just head into that spiritual season of preparing for Easter, remembering why Easter is so important to our faith journey. So prayer, fasting, almsgiving, something to keep in mind above and beyond all the things that you're going to sacrifice for Lent or fast this. That's just one part of it. And yet we put so much emphasis on it. But prayer, almsgiving, just as important. So whether you are someone who observes Lent or not, these are things to build into our daily relationship with God. The fasting, the prayer, the almsgiving, and finding out with your relationship with Him how best to bring these practices in to your everyday. It's wild, the studies that are now being published about how phones are impacting our day-to-day, how having access to different platforms with short-form content impacts our ability to remember things longer. So phones, maybe a blessing, maybe not a blessing, depending on how your brain functions and retains information, but lots of red flags when it comes to phones. But there is actually a teacher who has figured out a way to help curb some of the addiction to phones. So what he does is with his students is not ban the phone from his classroom, doesn't try to have them develop stronger willpower, but in 10 days, his students actually cut phone use by over 50%. And adults who tried it, the same. It wasn't discipline, it was the brain. The phone doesn't break your discipline, the teacher says. It breaks your dopamine rhythm. So it's a very interesting distinction to make. So checking it constantly trains our brain to crave these little tiny hits of stimulation, which is why short form content becomes addictive. It's not because we're weak. It's just because our nervous system has learned this pattern. So, advice that he says may not actually work is deleting the apps, being more disciplined, just stop scrolling. It's more about the interruption of this dopamine habit. So what he says is, before you touch your phone, say out loud the reason you're touching the phone. So, checking my messages, looking for a file. It does sound pretty silly, doesn't it? I mean, why should we say this out loud? Well, for your brain to hear it. It wakes your brain up. By the third day, they stop grabbing their phone just because. Because sometimes we do that. We pick up our phone and we don't know why we're picking up our phone. If we say just because, that's going to interrupt the pattern and we're going to say, just put this thing down. What am I doing here? Oh, man. It is helping to name the impulse activities at the prefrontal cortex. And that's a part of your brain that is responsible for self-controlled decision-making and awareness. So when we add language, it can reduce the compulsion. So if you're one that likes to use your phone and you're picking up for no reason and you're scrolling for no reason, name it. And then if it sounds silly, don't touch the phone. Interrupt the brain. Change the habit. Well, that's a wrap. Those are our favorite memories from this past week. Join me for more Good Company live every weekday from 4:30 till 6 p.m. here on Joy Radio. Oh, and don't forget, you can also catch up by subscribing to our Joy Radio podcast. If you'd like to join in on the conversation, text 905-338-1250. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on Monday.